Welcome to the 36th tutorial in our top-down zombie game tutorial series, and in this tutorial we're going to be creating a collider. Pretty much, yeah, we're gonna get started with collision detection, and all the collider is gonna simply do is basically gonna notify us when we have collided, pretty much. So yeah. Now, what we want to do is go into okay, I'm gonna go into the game object, and inside this class I'll simply create a new Java class and I'll name it a collider. And for the collisions, what we're pretty much going to be using is rectangular collisions, pretty much. So yeah. And right off the bat, we want to make this extends a component. Implement all the abstract methods. Okay. Bruh. Oh my goodness, I said compare node instead of component. Okay, let's remove this. And implement all the abstract methods. Remove this, and create a constructor. And there we go. We have a basic collider set. Now, pretty much inside the update method, that's when we're going to check for collisions. Now, when I say we're going to be using rectangular collisions or box collisions, whatever, how we're going to be checking for collisions is by what? For example, we're going to have a square around the player and a square around the zombie, or a square around the bullet. It depends on whichever collider we have. So pretty much what happens is pretty much what happens is that what happens is that if the player's square touches the zombie square, we're going to pretty much collide. And yeah, so let's create an abstract method. No, let's just create a function, public void, and inside here we're going to say we're just going to call it on collision. Pretty much this is the code we want to execute whenever a collision happens. And now let's get started. So first of all, we need to say okay, so first things first, we need to go to a scene class and add an array, a list of colliders. So we're going to go to scene, and inside here, because I want to do it in a different way, in a more optimized way. We could have done it the other way, but it'll be slow. It will slow down your frame rate. This is like an optimized way. And I didn't want to bother showing you guys the other way because it will be pointless. Anyway, so inside the scene, I'll just create a protected list, array lists, and this is going to be a list of colliders. And we're just going to have some functions. Get colliders. And void. Add collider. And we're going to take in a collider. Pretty much what this function will do is pretty much add a collider into into a list of colliders. And we also want to have a remove collider. And now we'll simply go back to here. So yeah, now we can simply say since we have this, now we have the list of colliders, what we can simply say is, so we're going to create a list, our own list of colliders. Is equal to, okay, import util is equal to game object dot scene dot get colliders, and inside here we're gonna have a for loop. Wow, this thing's smaller than colliders dot size, and we're gonna increment that. And inside here we'll simply want to check test for collision. So pretty much what we want to do is we want to create a variable called bounds, a rectangle, and we're gonna call it bounds. And we're gonna have to import the rectangle, and pretty much that's it. And inside here we simply want to say bounds equals to new rectangle, and we simply want to get the width and height of the game object dot width, and game object dot height. Okay, why is it not working? Okay, so there's 3 values, and also, okay, we also have its x and y position. And yeah, pretty much. So yeah, so this is pretty much it. Bounds equals to rectangle changes to an integer. So change this to an integer. And somewhere, okay, pretty much now this is where we're gonna test for collision. So we simply want to say if bounds dot intersect and instead of this we're simply going to simply say colliders dot get I, okay. And what we need to dot bounds, right? So okay, let me create a new function here, public rectangle get bounds. I'll explain the code later on. Oh, and also one more thing, I just need to, never mind, yeah. Oh, we need to change this up a bit. Okay, never mind. We should just, I don't know what I'm saying. Let's just do this. Oh, and we also need either two more variables. That's the position. So we're going to have turn game object dot x dot position dot x game object position by y. Oh, we also need to change this to integers. So we also need to change this from from there to get bounds. So this is collided with get I, then we'll simply, there's too much. Okay, then we'll simply say on collision. On collision, and inside here I want to pass in a game object. And I'll simply call colliders.getI, and also .game object. .game object. Wait, let me go back to the component, make sure game object is public. Okay, game object is public. Go back to collider, game object. Oh, just an end like that. And okay, the get bounds. So pretty much this is it. So let me explain the code. So pretty much you have a rectangle bounds. So pretty much it's a rectangle or a square. We're gonna create this square around our game object based on their width and height. And in fact, we don't need this. And we also don't need this. So pretty much, yeah. So what happens is on the update method, we pretty much are checking for collision. We also don't need all of this, so pretty much that's it. So what we're going to do is pretty much loop through every single collider and see if our rectangle intersects with the other rectangle pretty much. Get bounds, return a rectangle, and we're going to return a rectangle with the X position and the Y position to maintain the width and height. So right now we can simply go and add these colliders to our objects. So let's go to our entities and player, and you can simply go inside the init. Oh, one more thing, we're not yet done. So we have on collision. So what I want to do is I want to create a listener, a new Java class. In fact, it's not going to be a class, it's going to be an interface. This is the first time we're using interfaces, by the way. So what an interface is, it's pretty much, it's a set of methods. So we're going to create a new file, and we're going to click on interface, and we're going to hit next. And I'll simply name this collision listener, because it kind of like listens for collisions pretty much. So inside the collision listener, we're just going to have a simple method, public abstract void on collision. And what's going to take is going to take a game object, and pretty much we're done with creating the listener. So what we're going to do is we're going to go inside the collider, and we also want to take a collision listener. Did I spell that right? I didn't spell it. Listen, okay. I'll just simply name it CR. What? Okay, oh, it's in the wrong package. So now this should go away, okay. it's gonna wait. So we're gonna listener, and what happened pretty much is simply gonna set the listener is equal to CL, and instead of calling on collision, it's simply gonna say listener.onCollision. Listener.onCollision, and we're gonna remove this function right now. We don't need this. And if you want to draw a collider, we can actually do that, but not now. We're gonna do that later. So yeah, and pretty much that's it. So now let's go implement this. So first of all, let me go into a player, and I'll add a collider to the player. So the init, I'll go in here and add a collider. So I'll simply say, first of all, to add a collider, pretty much need to implement a collision listener and add a collider. So we're gonna extend the entity and simply say implements collision listener. Collision listener. And after that, you can simply say implement all the abstract methods, and you can simply say add component, new collider. We're gonna pass in this and this, because pretty much this is a game object and this is also a collision listener. It's gonna be a bit confusing, but yeah, just bear with me. So pretty much when we pass in a new collider, we're gonna pass in a game object and a collision listener. And if you check inside the game object, the player class, this is a game object. It extends entity and extends collision listener, and it's also a collision listener pretty much. So yeah, now pretty much what we also want to do is inside the game object, we want to add all. So inside the game object, because right now if we run this, it won't work. Okay, by the way, let's add another collider to the zombie. So inside the zombie, extends collider listener, collision listener, sorry. And what? Oh, should implement, sorry, my bad. Implements collision listener, add import, implement all the abstract class. Oh, and pretty much you can leave it like this, and yeah, now inside the player. So pretty much and inside here we can simply say if we collide, we can simply we collided, dude. So when we collide, we simply want to, just display we collided, dude, pretty much. And if we go to run this and we run it, okay, it's not debugging that, so let's go ahead and fix it. The reason that is because even though it's the components attached to the game object, we're still not adding the. Remember earlier on we created inside the scene class, we created something called colliders list. We're not adding any collider to that list, so in order to fix that, we simply need to go to the game object class, and inside so here I'll just create a new object, a new function, and I'll name it init object void init object, and simply want to call init and after that we also want to pretty much sort our components. So yeah, so we're gonna loop through the list of components. So let me say for component, component, I'm gonna create a for each loop inside the components. We simply want to say scene.add collider. So we simply want to check if the component is a collider pretty much. So if component is an instance of collider, then we will simply want to say we want to add the component to have component, and we're gonna have to cast this to our collider. So pretty much this is it. So what's happening is basically we're gonna loop through the components list and look colliders. So if it's a collider, we're simply gonna add a collider to the scene. And now when we run this, okay, we're getting errors. Okay, we didn't implement all the abstract methods. And I'll simply say Mr. Zombie collided. Now I can go ahead and test this. For some reason it's still not working. Okay, let me go ahead and fix this. Okay, I think I know why. It's because when we created this init object, we actually are not calling init object. So let's go back to the scene, and instead of calling init, we want to change this to init object. And when we run now, okay, let me just remove this. For some reason, okay, it's not working properly. I don't know why. We collided. Okay, I think that's super clear. Let me just check out the problem right now. Okay, so I see the problem. The problem is we're actually colliding with ourselves. If you check here, it's colliding with the player is colliding with the player. So yeah, we need to fix a few stuff inside the collider class. So let's go to the collider class and simply say, and add another condition. If colliders.getI does not equal to this, does not equal to this. Okay, so that's one problem taken care of, and okay, good. So the other thing is we'll set the zombies. So we're going to go to this class and simply add a collider. So in both, let me go to the green zombie class, and inside the init method, we need to add the add component new collider collider, and we're going to pass this for the game object and this for the collision listener. And now when we run this thing, so it's kind of working. Okay, I think we might need to draw the what is it called? The collider to see what's happening. Maybe the width and height of the player is too big. Let me see. Player. Yeah, so I think we might need to go back to the renderer class. Okay, so I'm like void draw rectangle. So I'm simply gonna take in graphics 2D. What is it? G and what else? Int X. Yeah, int X. Oh my goodness, what am I writing? Int X, int Y, int width, and int height. Okay, why? Okay, I don't know why it's not working. Oh, I did it over there. Okay. Public void draw rect, and we're going to take an int x int. In fact, we're going to take in vector 2 f position, and also going to take in int width and int height, pretty much. And we're just going to copy this x offset and y offset and paste them there. I actually don't remember what these things do. And we want to copy this. And let's transform all of this stuff, pretty much. Just change this to G, and so draw image is simply gonna say draw rect. Zero and 0 and width and height. Oh, we're taking the graphics, okay. So now let's go to the collider, and when we render, we simply want to say game object dot renderer dot draw rect and And for this stuff, we'll simply say game object of position. Game objects dot width and game object dot height. Okay, I need to change this to integer. Also this. And now let's run this. Okay, so you can pretty much see the collision. So what happens is when I enter, we pretty much gonna collide. When I do this, we collide. Pretty much, so the collision is working properly. We just need to like reduce the collision bounds pretty much. So yeah. Let me just half that. And simply pass divide by 2 inside here and divide by 2 and divide by 2 as well as divide by 2. Now let's run. So pretty much what we did now is we halved the bounds. As you can see now, the collision seems a little bit more properly, works a bit more properly. We're seeing the text at the bottom once we collide pretty much. So guys, that's it for collision, guys. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. So yeah guys, peace.